Well, good day everyone. This is Chris Ball. I'm the Chief Executive of TAEN, the Age and Employment Network, and we thought that we would like to show you the presentation that I gave to a conference of the local enterprise partnerships in the early part of September. And it's about supporting the LEPs with their strategies for older workers. TAEN is the Age and Employment Network, and our charitable mission is to support a labour market that is fair and open to people in later and midlife. So a few facts to start with before we get into it, and you will probably be aware of many of these figures in any case, so I'll race through them fairly quickly. But if we look at the way that demographic change is happening, and this is all part of public policy and is well rehearsed, but over 50s will be making up 1/3 of the working age population by 2020. Big changes are taking place. On average, men and women are leaving the labour market earlier now, however, than they were in the 1950s. People were retiring males were retiring at the age of about 67 back then. And of course, now they're living much longer. 1 in 6 men and 1 in 4 women are reaching state pension age at the time that they have already retired. In that case, we're talking about people who hadn't worked since at least the age of 55. Half retire by the time they reach state pension age, and we've now got slightly less than a third of people in the 50 to 64 age bracket. 2.9 million people aged 50 to state pension age are not in work in one way or another. 420,000 inactive 50 to 64-year-olds have caring responsibilities. That explains one of the reasons why they quit the workforce early. So there are many reasons why we should try to engage this unused population, potentially able to contribute to the economic growth of our country. Retaining their knowledge, and in particular their firm-specific skills and experience, would be of great advantage. Avoiding the skill shortages that in some cases are occurring, and of course maintaining productivity and being able to use them to mentor younger employees. And of course, customers often want an age-diverse workforce. And individual workers gain as well. You can see in the blue box there that by working an extra year in the instances I'm talking about here with average income at 25,000, you can see that people can add considerably to their pension fund. And of course, that's not to mention the satisfaction of being useful, feeling useful, having a role and keeping active. So individuals can gain in all of these ways by working longer. Financial gain, physical gain, well-being, and of course, if we can possibly support them by retraining them to enter new jobs, that's useful. And even apprenticeships can be undertaken by people who are in their 50s. There are some examples of that. And it's certainly possible to make a new start in your 50s. Just because you reach the age of 50 doesn't mean to say it's the end. Now, all of these facts do offer great benefits to local enterprises. More older workers means more spending power, more jobs for the young. The local economy benefits. Higher local productivity and growth means less poverty, less drain on local resources, and improving social and intergenerational cohesion. So LEPs, for all of these reasons, should be thinking of engaging older workers. The reason we've put this presentation together is because we believe that TAEN, the Age and Employment Network, can help you in the strategies that you are putting together to use the structural funds to develop the economies in the areas that you cover. TAEN is a centre of expertise on age and employment. You can see our website there, www.taen.org.uk. That's just the home page. And the key thing about it is that there are many useful resources, not only for employers, but also for organizations that are supporting people back to work. And indeed, there are resources in there for individuals as well. This is a section of the website that really has been prepared to support a particular project that we've been running, the TAEN European Social Fund Technical Assistance Project, and this contains resources to support all of the ESF funded organizations that are helping people back to work, and including, of course, helping them as they focus on the 50+ population. Quite a number of things there. This rather dense slide gives you a list of some of the resources that we can offer. It covers information about age legislation, guides on all aspects of age legislation, news about policy and other developments, events and seminars and conferences that we run from time to time, a summary of relevant news in the media centre, resources to support those who support people back to work, advisors, people at the sharp end, a useful skills assessment tool, a work analysis tool, a very important one there, marked in red, 50+ Works, a best practice guide that we were commissioned by the Department for Work and Pensions to produce. It's a web-based guide, and it's proved to be incredibly useful, has been very well appraised by the DWP independently. 50+ Matters is the newsletter for the ESF Technical Assistance Project. There is separately a TAEN quarterly newsletter that covers policy developments and all sorts of things which our member organisations would like to hear about. Plenty of resources on age management, on work, on pensions, retirement, learning and skills, health, career guidance, support for individuals, and other projects. This is a slide which, if you pause on it, you can follow the link that you can see there, and you can listen to these talking head videos. These are older people who are in work giving you their experiences and their views on what it's like to be someone in their 50s or 60s in work and the different ways that they work. So it's a good way, I think, of sensitizing people who might not necessarily be too familiar with the way it feels for an older person to be in a job in this way. And we can offer all these forms of support for back to work success, helping you to help the organizations who are supporting people who are seeking work simply to be more successful and better at what they do. Some of these I've summarized already. Here's a slide that shows you some of the things that we offer pictorially. You can see there Managing the Aging Workforce, the white publication. That's a guide, an introductory guide to age management for HR professionals. The green publication on the left-hand side is the guide that we produced with the European ESF Age Network, a partnership of some 15 member states, managing authorities, managing the resources of and program of the European Social Fund. And it contains really interesting, excellent and very different examples of the ways in which the different member states of the European Union have used their funds, in some cases quite innovatively, and it could be useful to you as we now enter the 2014 to 2020 program. So knowledge, research, training in age management and leadership, supporting social dialogue, consultancy, projects, and of course membership. You can become a member organisation of TAEN and receive information from us on a regular basis. Just to give you an illustration of the kind of thing that we talk about, this is our framework of age management. We believe that it's important that employers adopt a holistic approach. We've heard a great deal about working time and flexibility, how that's important, but that's not the only thing. There are many other aspects of human resource management that need to be looked at in order to be effective in managing the aging workforce to the best potential. Transitions to retirement, recruitment and exit, lifelong learning, career development, knowledge management, health promotion, ergonomics and job design, leadership and culture, and of course, right at the center, there needs to be a strategy. We can talk about these things and help to explain to managers in companies in your area, or indeed to people who are going out and training them, how this sort of approach, together with some of the excellent examples that we can bring together, can bring great benefits in the way that organizations manage their existing employees and prevent them from dropping out of the workforce prematurely in the way that we covered with some of the earlier slides. And finally, it's important that organizations are able to support workplace innovation. It is really important that they adopt work practices that facilitate retention and engagement of older workers. And workplace innovation refers to workplace practices that enhance employee engagement and increase skills utilization through high levels of involvement and participation. If you can innovate in the way that workplaces are organized, then it's much more likely that you will lead on to improved productivity, high levels of product, service and process innovation, and indeed products as well. Workplace innovation should be part of every LEP's innovation strategy. Working with other organizations in partnership, TAEN is able to bring expertise in this area. Workplace innovation practices are associated with improved employee health and well-being and a reduction in sickness absence. All of this can have a positive impact on the retention and engagement of older workers. And of course, with all of that, we need to remember that people need to be inspired and they like examples, and we have plenty of examples. You can see on the left-hand side, at the top left-hand corner, the German chemicals company BASF, which when you start looking at it in detail, you begin to understand how they've adopted a very interesting age management program, Generations at Work. You can see that a great deal of thought has been put into it. It's a big company. You can see on the right-hand side, the top right-hand side, the benefits of keeping older workers in the workforce. When the US Airways plane landed on the Hudson River, it was because of the skill of the pilot, Captain Chesley Sullenberger, who was 57 years old at the time, and just a few years earlier he might have been obliged to retire. And we can demonstrate by some of these examples to perhaps skeptical managers just what they can do and what the benefits might be. And we can show you some of the examples of good practices that have been introduced by great companies in the UK as well. So really, that's the kind of thing that we can do. We would be very pleased to meet you, sit down with you, talk to you, and help you in the formation of a local strategy that is just right for the area that you cover. Thank you very much.